Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the stream I just did. It's going to be basically like a little recap of this barrel that I created. Hang on. I feel like there's something wrong with the audio. One sec. Let me just. All right, there. I think it's working. So, sorry for that little skit. I just couldn't help myself. I've been thinking about this for about a week, and I don't know. It's I think it's pretty good. But as you can see, I have a microphone and a camera that I'm recording this with. The whole setup is not final, simply because I'm still kind of just trying to figure things out in terms of like the channel aesthetic that I'm going for, I guess. Simply because this is still a fairly new thing for me to be doing. All of that will be ironed out, kind of going into the future. And as you can see, certain things like the Oculus sensor or my laundry hamper over there, and the two vests hanging off of my closet door. Not ideal. Not things that I'm going to be embarrassed about, but not ideal. Alright, so let's have a look at the model. So as you can see, the model is very, very highly detailed. There's a lot going on here. You might be wondering how I'm going to be able to bring this into the game, and all I have to say to that is just wait until the next stream recap, or just watch my next stream, because I will be going into that. So yeah, I'm going to be going over the model, how I made it. I'm just kind of going to be doing a basic recap of the stream that I did last Wednesday. Before we get fully started, I figure I should let you guys know the streams will no longer be at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Instead, they're going to be at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Wednesday. I just want to make sure that as many people as possible have the opportunity to watch my stream. And I might be adjusting that in the future, but for now, I'm just going to be doing Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just remember your time zones so that you aren't late or anything like that. And yeah, we should be good to go. If you want more information about that and you want to be able to catch me when I'm streaming, but I haven't announced it on the channel, because I might just feel like streaming like a video game, or maybe I'll be continuing work on this or on another model that I want to stream, but I just haven't announced it on my channel. You can join my Discord. The link is in the description, and I hope to see you there. It'll be nice to be able to talk to some of you guys, and if you have any questions for me, if you need any help, I'm there and I'll do my best, but no promises. Sometimes I'm a little busy. Alright, so I think that covers the basics. Let's actually start going through the stream. As you can see, I'm just kind of trying to get a rough barrel shape. It isn't always the best idea to go with the most high poly thing. It's usually better to start modeling with low poly things. But as you'll see, I'm sort of just going through and modeling something that I'm not really too concerned about in terms of detail or anything like that. And the reason why is because I'm going to be sculpting a lot of the detail in later, and then redoing the mesh kind of over top of the sculpture. So one of the things that I was experimenting with, which honestly is probably one of the things that I should have gone with in the first place, is sculpting separate planks. Now this idea was pretty neat, but as I started to sort of modify the planks that I had separated out, I realized that I was getting this sort of hexagon pattern. Not pattern, but it was sort of like a hexagonal look to the barrel. And I like that, but I kind of wanted to go for something a little bit different. Alright, so as I mentioned there, this is going to be a recurring mistake in the entire stream. But basically, I had two separate models. One was the whole barrel, and one was just the planks. And I think in future, I'm probably just going to focus on the planks, because I don't think that the whole barrel was really that smart a way of modeling this object. So either way, let's just continue. So yeah, now on to the sculpting. So I just went in and set up the sculpt mode the way I like, and I also was kind of just playing around with the resolution. Here I'm going through and I'm starting to bevel the edges around the top of the barrel. Yeah, this is just sort of to give this model the sort of handcrafted look I was going for. It's a bit more rough around the edges. I could have beveled it with a mesh if I wanted to, but I decided not to because I think it looks a little bit better when I hand bevel it, and it gives it that sort of rough look of like wood that has not really seen the best of days. Alright, so yeah, that was a pretty simple part of the modeling process. It just sort of covered the very basics, and yeah, going forward, like I'm not too concerned too much about a lot of the stuff that I did in this one, but yeah, going forward you'll see exactly why I had problems with the planks themselves. Now on to sculpting the planks. So here I decided to go radial, and I wanted to see if I could sculpt all 12 planks at the same time, but I got this gross repeating texture that I wasn't really quite proud of, so I decided to do 4 planks at a time. So this kind of just does like a little radial sculpt around the model, and it's does it 4 times. So it'll take care of the angle, and it's just going to go around the model. And as you can see, I'm also using a smooth mouse to get particularly smooth lines. They're not perfect, but that's fine. I'm not worried about them being perfect. I just want them to look like lines, I guess. I just don't want them to look uniform. And then I just go in and I sort of start wearing down the edges of these planks just to make them look like they're a little bit more worn, just like the bevel at the top there. So at this point I go in and I start making the lid and the bottom of the barrel, just so I can sort of see where I need to sculpt and where I don't need to sculpt. And it provides a pretty good reference for that, actually. And yeah, this is just more me going in and sculpting in the lines and sculpting in the bevels. So yeah, I just want to take the opportunity to say that during the stream I actually talked about a couple different topics that I won't show in this video. So there's going to be a lot of exclusive content over on my stream channel that won't be shown on this channel. HoneyPop, you're the best. So yeah, it's at this point that I decided to add the sort of metal bands that go around the barrel and hold it all together. And as you can see, I'm just sort of using a simple shape and applying modifiers to it to get the sort of look that I want. This is one of the best parts about Blender that I actually really enjoy, and it's something that I really can't wait to show you guys in the future tutorials. So now that that's done, I just sort of started on the lid, you know, going around the top and doing a bit of a bevel. This way, again, just like the barrel itself, it gives us this sort of dirty handcrafted look that you can't quite get when you model something. You can sort of fudge up some of the vertices, but you still really, in my opinion, sculpting the edges like that is one of the best ways that you can get a lot of that detail in there. And then I just start the exact same process again with the wood, just sort of going in and sort of sculpting some lines to represent the separation between the planks, then sort of sculpting in the bevels around the planks. And as you can see, the bottom has the exact same lines there, but I'm sculpting in different bevels, and that's going to add a little bit of a dynamic look to it, a different look to it. So that's one way in which you can cheat and sort of repeat things, much like I did around the barrel, but you know, going in and with the different sculpt brushes, just sort of breaking that, just sort of separating those two sort of textures out. And here I go into the metal bands and I start sculpting in that bevel again. That bevel is going to be a very big part of a lot of the sculpting that I'm going to be doing in the future, and in probably a lot of the sort of art tutorials that I'm going to do. And yes, this time they actually are going to be tutorials, by the way. Now I'm going to say one thing about this is that I sort of feel like the metal bands could have been done better. Alright, so that was the basic details of the barrel. The reason why I'm doing it this way is because, you know, you always kind of want to start with your bigger details and then work down to your smaller details. You don't ever want to focus on the small details of one particular spot, because you can sort of lose sight of the bigger picture. And so that's what I was doing here. So as I mentioned, one of the big problems that I had to do with the planks. As I said, the planks would have been much better if I had just separated them out like I did at the beginning, and just tried to work on and figure out how to get the shape that I actually wanted to. I definitely think I know how I could have gotten that shape, but I just really wasn't thinking about it too much. So going into the future, I think that's something that I'm probably going to change. Now that we're done that, let's just go right into the detail sculpting. Alright, so here you can see me starting to sort of sculpt in a lot of the lines that are going to represent wood grain. Now, I'm not doing like wood grain 100% because, like I said, I'm going for sort of like a handcrafted texture type look. And the handcrafted textures don't really have a lot of like wood grain detail. They just have like sort of representation of the materials that they are supposed to be. So yeah, I'm just going in with the brush and sculpting in a bit of wood grain. And then afterwards, I'm going to go in and sort of refine that detail, as well as the edges, the beveled edges along the planks. And as you can see, they look much more sharp and much more contrasty. And that's going to really help with the overall final look, I think, of the wood. And then I'm just doing the exact same thing on the bottom, and as I mentioned before, you know, I sculpted these lines to be the same, but I really started to break it up once I got those bevels in, and it's going to break it up even further and make it look like a completely different texture, which I guess at this point it is, just by me going in and sculpting in a little bit of variation with the wood grain. I also want to add that, you know, with this wood grain, and this is something that I probably will struggle with going into the future, but with this wood grain, sometimes you just want to create the impression and you don't want to go a little bit too overboard. I know that there are going to be people who are going to struggle with that, and I'm certainly going to struggle with that. In a year, I'm going to be looking back on this texture and being like, man, that really sucks. But for now, I don't think it's too bad. I think it looks okay. That's just part of being an artist. You're going to try new things. You're going to sort of take yourself out of your comfort zone, and you are going to discover new and better ways of doing things that you didn't previously know before. And yeah, it's just me moving on to the barrel, trying to sculpt in a lot of detail. This is really where those planks would have come in handy, because I think with the planks, I probably could have sculpted 4 and then maybe flipped them and sort of move them around to get a little bit more variation. But I didn't, and so as a result, I had to sculpt in the details of all 12. I could have sculpted in, actually you can sculpt in as many as you want. You can sculpt all of them if you want, if you did planks. You can sculpt in 3 and repeat them and move them around. You can do a lot if you consider the process and workflow that you're using to do different things. And I think that, you know, that's a really important part about it. You know, I could talk about this all day about how using planks would have made this whole process much easier. I think the best thing that I could do is just, you know, try and keep that in mind going into the future, because that's really how you grow as an artist and get better, is just recognize your mistakes and improve upon it. Alright, so that's basically it. The rest of this is just me sculpting in the wood grain on the planks. So I hope you enjoyed this. I should mention that I'm probably not going to be doing like a stream recap particularly often, simply because, you know, let's say the next thing that I decide to model is like a fence or something like that. A lot of the wood grain stuff that is going to be in that video or in that stream is going to be in this video, and I just don't see a point in repeating that kind of information. I am going to be repeating it again when we actually start on the art, which is going to be a barrel and a crate. So I'm going to be recreating this model, but doing a much better job to teach you the things that I learned here. And I'm not really sure which one I'm going to focus on, if I'm going to focus on the barrel or if I'm going to focus on the crate. But I'm going to pick one, and then the other one is just going to be kind of like a little breakdown video. A little bit like this, but just showing you how you can use the techniques that I would be showing you in that tutorial in a different context. Yeah, so going into the future, if you want to see me working on this sort of stuff on my Twitch, like I said, it's Wednesdays at 2 p.m. I'm probably going to be streaming more often, so if you want to catch me every single time, make sure you follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/supertrooper, or you can, you know, go down into the description, there's a link there, as well as a link to my Discord, where I will likely be announcing either maybe a day before or the day of that I'm going to be streaming. And yeah, the next set of videos are probably going to be just sort of wrapping up the character controller. I feel like at this point I've been saying it so often, so I'm just going to say, like, you know, I'm not really sure how long this series is going to go on for, but I know for a fact that we're going to be covering swimming and then flying, and then that's it. And then we're going to be moving on to an entirely new topic. The numbers are going to reset. You know, it's going to be, I don't know, just RPG topic series part 1 or something like that. Just because I think people are coming to the channel and seeing like WoW Clone episode 10 or whatever, and they're thinking to themselves like, this is a crazy project and it's going to go a long time. I don't think people are really going to be interested in watching WoW Clone Part 50, or hell, WoW Clone Part 25 is probably going to be a bit too much for them. So yeah, I'm just going to sort of go through, rename all my World of Warcraft clone videos, and I'm going to give them different categories so that people can find them easily, and the topics are going to be unique, and hopefully they're not going to be too dependent on a lot of the stuff that we've been working on. And the other thing too is, like, I know this was something that I was talking about on the stream. This is one of those things that you can sort of talk to me about on the stream, but I just sort of asked people, like, what do you guys think about sort of me doing other videos, doing like one-off videos or exploring other topics? And it seemed to me that like a lot of the people were looking at my videos and thinking to themselves, you're probably never going to finish the WoW clone. And as much as I want to deny that possibility, it might be correct. I'm thinking to myself that the WoW clone itself is a fun project for me to sort of learn some of these things, and I want to take that to its most extreme point. But at the same time, I'm willing to accept the possibility that it might get a little bit too bloated, and then I might just have to can it. So, you know, going into the future, I might be doing a couple one-off videos. I might be doing, you know, other topic videos, like, you know, things that relate to art technology, I guess I would describe it. Things like animation, I guess film, visual effects, explorations into that kind of stuff, because, you know, they're, like I said, my knowledge is largely in art, but there's other topics too that I think might be really interesting. Like, you know, photogrammetry, photo scanning basically, where you take a camera out and you take pictures and you create 3D models in the computer of the things that you took pictures of. You know, I want to make a video about that, or I just want to make maybe I want to make a Blender series or something like that. So I don't know, just if you've made it this far in the video and you're interested in seeing other topics, you know, feel free to like mention something in the comments. Not 100% sure I'm going to get there. It might be a one-off thing, and yeah, it'll just give me an opportunity to explore some other topics that I wouldn't necessarily be able to do if I had sort of hard focused on this specific niche of making a WoW clone, which, I don't know, might not have been the best idea, but I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna keep on going with it. I'm not gonna stop right now just because I'm getting a little bit cold feet. So yeah, other than that, like, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you on the stream. It was a lot of fun. More people showed up than I thought would, and I'm really encouraged about the way this channel's going. I've gotten a lot of positivity, and I can't wait to see how everything evolves going into the future. This is a really fun project for me. So thank you all for being so awesome. And yeah, if you like this video and you like the stuff that I do, consider subscribing and leaving a like and just commenting down below if you have any questions. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I can't wait to see you again.
Super trooper, super trooper, super trooper, and he sells soup.